Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Shelly Palmer. This is Crypto Wednesdays, 12:15 here on the East Coast. We're in the shadow of the Empire State Building right at the East River, and it's a pretty fabulous day. Welcome to everybody. Wow, I'm looking all over the place here. We got Zoom going, we've got YouTube Live going, Twitter for the first time in a very long time. We're up on Twitter. So Crypto Wednesday, hashtag Crypto Wednesday is the hashtag. You can tweet. We'll answer all your questions. Chat's where it's at. So chat on YouTube Live. You can chat on Zoom, of course. We're happy to look at the chat. We're going to put the questions on screen. This is clearly an Ask Me Anything kind of day. It's office hours. We're going to talk a lot today about cryptocurrency, about DeFi, about the world of smart contracts and NFTs. We're going to go deep into Facebook because that seems to be on everybody's mind. We're going to talk a little bit about encrypting your crypto, which is very important. There have been some very interesting mistakes made this week that we'd like all of you to try to not make. Michael Port, welcome. Yes, the music in the pregame show is a bunch of jingles that I've written over the years and a bunch of background music for various television shows and movies and a fair number of jingles and news music packages that I started my life as a composer producer, and that's my subtle way of letting people know that I still write every day and I still play every day and I still, am still in the music business, but I don't talk about it because it doesn't really help our cryptocurrency world. It really doesn't help our tech consulting practice very much, but it's a lot of fun and it's what I grew up doing. So yeah, Howie Schwartz from Hudson Valley knows all about my nefarious jingle business past. Welcome, Howie. Glad you're here. Please identify yourself on chat because that's a great place, really a fabulous place for you all to converse with each other. Tell us where you are, tell us what you do, and of course tell each other where you are and what you do, and any questions you might have for me, I am completely happy to ask. This is Crypto Wednesday, but it's also Ask Me Anything. So we're going to jump right in. There is a little bit of news. It's just a little bit of news. I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, but since everybody's been asking, yes, it's true. I have been named the Professor of Advanced Media in Residence at the Newhouse School at Syracuse University. I am incredibly proud to work with this group. It is awesome. No, I'm not stopping my regular day job. Definitely not stopping my day job. That is under any circumstances. The old adage, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Well, you're looking at a busy guy, and I am just thrilled out of my mind. We're going to work on teaching at the master's level, the master's program. I've got one course this semester, but the other part of my tasks at Newhouse School to work with the faculty and some extraordinary colleagues up there and modernize and adapt the master's curriculum in new media or advanced media so that the candidates there are best prepared to enter the workforce. The school is incredible. There is so much talent there on the faculty. The students are unbelievable too. So it was an instant yes for me when they asked for a little bit of my time to teach and to work with these incredible young people. The class I'm teaching, they actually opened it up to some select undergrads, and I'm not sure what's more impressive, the graduate students or the undergrads. So really, it makes you, teaching keeps you young, but meeting young people that are this bright and this energetic and this full of life and excitement about a business that I've grown up in is heartening, to say the least. So, all right, let's get past that again, please. Chat's where it's at. So, yeah, Hatham, welcome. Hatham is actually one of my students and a wonderful class. So, let's talk a little bit about Facebook. I'm sure I can see a zillion questions about Facebook, and I understand why people would be thinking about it hard. Look, Facebook, they have to answer. They have to answer for their crimes. It's just that simple. There's just no way around it. They have got to answer for their crimes. And I'm saying that in air quotes, tongue firmly in cheek. Mark Zuckerberg's been up on the Hill, I don't know, 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years. Everyone from big tech's been up there. I don't know how many Facebook executives have gone in front of the Senate, in front of the House. It's always the same. the lawmakers grandstand by making some insane statement, and then when they ask questions that were clearly prepared by their staffers. Obviously, these are not questions that the people asking understand. And so the answers don't mean anything to them because the next question isn't a follow-on question. It's just the next question on the list. And then they ad lib. And that's even scarier because to a person, I have never heard any hearing on Capitol Hill where the ad-libbed questions were anything but nonsense. Literally anything but nonsense. And then, to cap it all off, there are no laws that have been passed. They have been grilling big tech for years. They've been grilling Facebook for years. And the outcome? Crickets. Now, ordinarily, I would say that is horrible, and that's a terrible thing, and it shouldn't be that way. But I have actually come to think that that's pretty fabulous that they haven't done anything, because I am also completely convinced this is not a group that I want to do anything. Like, they literally don't know enough to be responsible for this issue. So what I'm going to do this week, we have a, and I think you all know this, we have a private social network called PGX, and all of you are invited to join. PGX is easy to get to, and the link is in the description for every place you are. Those of you who are on Zoom, Joey will put it in Zoom. Those of you who are on YouTube, you can see it in the description. Those of you who are on Twitter, we'll put a link to PGX in Twitter right now. At the end of the day, we're going to have a good solid discussion here, but my goal at PGX this week is to have everybody come over and weigh in on what you think we need to do to solve this problem. And it's not a soundbite. This isn't something we can do really super quick. This is not a... There's no... If there was an easy answer, this would be solved. For example, a journalist does not need to reveal their sources. Government cannot... I mean, you can put them in jail, but they cannot be compelled to reveal their sources. And most journalists would say they won't. Do you need to reveal your sources? Are you a real journalist? Okay, what is a real journalist? Bigger question. Who's responsible? If the New York Times prints something, they can be sued for libel. If it's libelous, they're pretty insulated, but they still have to stand and deliver. They still have to defend, and a judge can compel them to... You know, the truth is always a defense, but if there's something that's not true that's posted, someone's head's going to roll. They are 100% responsible for the content published in the New York Times. Are you 100% responsible for the content published on your Facebook profile? What about your Twitter profile? What about when you retweet something? Is that disclaimer that says, I shouldn't be responsible for the retweet, I just liked it and I retweeted it, that so many people put in their Twitter bio, is that acceptable? What would you do to reduce hate speech? What would you do to reduce social media addiction? What would you do to eliminate or reduce the weaponization of content? How would you deal with bot traffic, which is pretty much 50% of the traffic on the internet? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone to go post on PGX. It's pgx.tech. And the goal there is to, I'm going to have, it's a giant sort of social environment. You can either post something, post your own article, comment on the articles that are there. We're going to collect all the interesting stuff that people say, the best of it, the worst of it. And, you know, every Sunday I write an essay. A lot of you subscribe. I know you do. You can send me an email if you want to, but I would really prefer you go to shellypalmer.com and subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't. On Sundays, I publish my Sunday essay. It's a thought leadership piece. You know, we do the news during the week, but then on Sundays, I write a thought leadership piece. And this Sunday, what my plan is to aggregate the best and the worst of it and see if we can come up with a strategic approach to regulation. Not a tactical roadmap, because I don't believe that that's can be done until you really understand the strategic approach to regulation. And what should that look like? Do you want to hold the platforms accountable? Do you want them to have to be transparent about their data governance? Do you want privacy laws changed? Like, what do you think would improve the situation? But not just willy-nilly what to do. What's the outcome you're seeking? If you're trying to reduce body shaming, if you're trying to reduce bullying, if you're trying to reduce social media addiction, if you're trying to reduce the weaponization of content or the weaponization of the tool set, if you're trying to restrict the ability of anonymous posters to be anonymous, like, what is the outcome you're seeking? And after you set down the outcomes, then talk about what the solution is. So, for example, if the outcome was that if you believed, if your thesis is that, I'm making this up and maybe it's real and maybe it's fake. If your thesis is that anonymity empowers and emboldens bullies, sounds fair. I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds fair and it sounds reasonable. I haven't done the experiments to prove it one way or the other. But let's say that's your thesis. Then what would you need to do to end that? Well, the simple answer is you can't be anonymous. All right. Facebook will tell you it's not anonymous, that they do some checking when you get online. They can't really check your age. Why? Because you need to be over 13 to be on Facebook. Except in the United States, you need to be over 18 to give affirmative consent. So you actually need to be over 18 to say you're over 13 and have it legally binding. Weird as that is. So you could say that you should require 2 forms of ID and a credit card to get on Facebook. Therefore, everybody would be known. Maybe. A lot of people would be known. Most people would be known. Would some people still be able to fraudulently get on to Facebook and have a Facebook profile? Absolutely. But they could be ferreted out relatively easily. I don't know. But they could be ferreted out. So that might be a solution. If your outcome was, I want to reduce bullying, and I believe that one of the root causes of bullying is anonymity, then that would be something to look at from a regulatory perspective. That would be something to look at from a policy perspective. All right, take something like the weaponization of content. It's nowhere near as cut and dried. There won't be one thesis about that. There'll be hundreds of theses where people are saying, okay, this is how we might weaponize content. This is how we might reduce the weaponization or restrict or prohibit or inhibit the weaponization of content. We don't have anybody laying out outcome required way to get there. And by the way, it's not just Facebook, because if you are honest, TikTok is 50 times more toxic than Facebook, and it's 50 times better at keeping you engaged. Google has its own craziness. Amazon has its own craziness. Snapchat has its own craziness. Each social network does its own thing, its own way. And they all have exactly the same prescribed outcome. 100% of all media's job is to be seen. 100% of an advertiser-supported environment is to keep you engaged so that the advertisers can present their messaging to you. You be the right person, right place, right time, right context, and get you to click on it. 100%. Ain't nothing else they're doing. They're not doing anything else. So the job is to keep you addicted, get you addicted and keep you addicted. That's the actual job. So to say you want to reduce social media addiction means you have to change the way social media works. Would you be willing to pay $9.99 a month for Facebook? Because then maybe they could do a version of Facebook that wasn't as insidious. Would you hang out if it wasn't as insidious? If it didn't just fire off all your endorphins and get you all excited? I don't know. Not a simple problem. Not in any way. So give it your best. I wanted to take a few minutes in Crypto Wednesday to talk about Facebook because it's such a big story. Facebook went down the other day for 6 hours, and people have been asking me about that. There's a great blog on Cloudflare that explains it in detail, and you should probably read it. Look, it's the biggest aggregation of human beings in the universe. It's 3.2 billion accounts. There's about 1 billion people a day show up on Facebook alone. So if you're wondering, there's something on the order of 4 billion people online and roughly 3 billion people on Facebook. Depending on who you ask about how many people are actually online and how many people are actually on Facebook, it's between 60 and 75% of everybody who's on the internet is on Facebook. So you probably owe it to yourself to understand how Facebook went down. I don't know what caused it at the Facebook side. Was it a bonehead move by somebody? Was it something else? I won't speculate. I don't want to speculate about how it happened. It was clearly a very unfortunate configuration error, forced or unforced. It was a configuration error. And Cloudflare has a wonderful blog post about it. For those of you who are wondering, just the Cliff's Notes version of this is it was Border Gateway Protocol issue, and the autonomous systems numbers, Facebook stopped advertising their ASNs. And the rest of the networks on the internet couldn't find it. In fact, it couldn't find itself. It was pretty horrifying. So, yeah, this is one of those things where if you really should know how the internet works. And if you don't, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to get out there and go, hey, how does the internet work? This is how. Why does the internet work? The internet, or interconnected networks. It's a network of networks. And Facebook is a giant network, one of the biggest, and it's made up of a bunch of little networks too. And they all have to tell each other where they are, and they weren't for about 6 hours yesterday, and or the day before. It was pretty wild. Not something you expect to see ever. And not something you expect to see ever. And hopefully I will never see it again. That's not the kind of thing you wish on anyone for any reason. One thing we didn't cover last week, and we're not going to cover it today past the point because I want to get to the crypto stories for today, but has anybody seen Astro? Did anybody watch the Amazon, speaking of data, giant data groups, anybody see the Astro robot presentation? I'm I don't know what to think about this. I got a Halo band. I'm kind of deep into the quantified selfing. I got a Halo band when they came out and took it off in about 3 days. It was the most invasive thing I had ever put on my body from a data collection perspective. This robot follows you around the house and learns all kinds of stuff about you and pretty much watches you all day long. No, that's personal opinion, but I'd love to hear from you. So again, please ask your questions. Chat is where it's at. You can use #CryptoWednesday on Twitter. Happy to have you there. We would love to have you ask some questions in the Zoom chat, and happy, of course, to have you on the YouTube chat as well. We're not on LinkedIn Live today. I really don't understand what they've done with LinkedIn Live. They've sort of made it event-based. So we'll put it up after the fact, and we'll, bring everybody in. All right, let's get deep. So there's a funny week in crypto. First of all, crypto prices are up today. And I don't really care about crypto pricing, but Bitcoin's over $55,000. Ethereum's Ether is at about $3,600 today. Last week it was at about $2,900. Bitcoin's been goofing around $45,000, $47,000 the last couple of weeks. 6 weeks ago, it was down around the 29,000 range, and ETH was down at about 1,900, 1,800. But 3,600 today. It's doubled in price and call it a month and a half. Solana is $160 today. What else do I see? DOT's at $32. Doge, a meme coin. Some people call them shit coins. I just call them meme coins. It's probably politer. 26 cents. Doesn't, not doing its thing. ADA is at 224. That's Cardano Network. They've got their smart contracts out. What else is happening here that's interesting? Maddox at $1.31. Big surprise is Link. Link is not happening. Link is down 22%. It's at $27. That's it's been as high as $35, $40. I don't know. It's really languishing, and it's interesting too because Chainlink is an oracle, and it's a spectacularly good piece of software. So I'm not sure why it's just dying on the vine, but could be the tokenomics, could be something else. I don't pay attention to crypto prices for just this reason. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to get into this business, but it's pretty fascinating. I mean, it's more than pretty fascinating. What's happened in the crypto markets. We have so many coins out there and so many people doing so much with it. And the curves all look the same. There's a big spike and then they all come down to oblivion. There's a lesson there for somebody. Not a lesson I plan to teach, but there are some lessons I do teach. And I think a lot of you know that I've been very fortunate to have this book out there. It's blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, and smart contracts, an executive guide to decentralized finance. It's been on the Amazon bestseller list for a while. I updated it 2 weeks ago. There's a second edition out there now. Please take advantage of it. It's an ebook as well as a paperback. And if you want to know how to get there, this is our resource page. The book links are there. There is, you can see prices. We have our database, which has all of the different companies we're looking at. Go deep into NFTs, what wallets you might be interested in, which we'll cover a little bit today. There's a lot of information about the various toolkits if you're going to start coding yourself or mining or minting or staking. These are a great place. There's a good set of resources there. So please feel free to take advantage of that. All the stuff there is there for you, and we update it constantly. It's the database we use ourselves. So yeah. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this week in crypto. So this week in crypto, there was an interesting NFT drop. The movie Zero Contact. It's a new thriller starring Anthony Hopkins, and it's going to come out. It's the first NFT feature film release. And you may be wondering, what is an NFT film release? And that is an absolutely valid question. What is it? Well, there's a company called Vuele, V-U-E-L-E, Vuele, and they have put together an NFT platform where they can play movies. It's Vuele.io, I think. Here's the thing. I understand NFTs very well. We've been dealing with NFTs for years, and it's of course super popular right now. We've got a bunch of NFT clients doing all kinds of work. I fully understand why you'd want to get involved with NFTs for audience development, for fan development, for digital collectibles, gameplay, and I fully understand why you'd want to watch a movie on a Web3 environment, a peer-to-peer network. Theta is a pretty good example of that. It's sort of like a YouTube peer-to-peer. BitTorrent's got a pretty decent peer-to-peer network. They're just getting their blockchain components together, but as a peer-to-peer movie watching, we've all been doing it for a long time. Been Tor files out for a long time. Do these things need to be put together? And is that the best way to approach this? Because I don't actually know the answer to that question. I don't know if this is a super brilliant approach to NFTs and movies, or if it's just, why did they put these two things together? Because it doesn't make an amazing amount of sense to me. However, because I am a student of this and totally not trying to use myself as a focus group or one, the fact that it doesn't make any sense to me doesn't mean it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to watch this very closely. You should too. It's going to be a really interesting experiment. Anthony Hopkins is Academy Award winner. He's an amazing actor. I don't know what the movie's going to be like. I hope it's good. Probably will be, because he's generally in really good movies and is a really good actor. You might want to check out Vuele, and you might want to check out what Zero Contact is going to do and how it works, and the tokenomics and economics, because we haven't seen anything like it before. This is I really am excited to see what happens, just to get a sense of what happens. Again, your questions on Twitter or on YouTube Live. Happy to take your questions, and of course on Zoom. Anybody who's got Zoom questions, please feel free. Actually, let me make it so I can have a better look at my Zoom chat, because I don't have as good a visibility into that right now. You'll forgive me for 1 sec. Awesome. Okay. Now, let's move on a little bit. The thing that blew my mind, and I mean totally blew my mind this week, Compound has a platform. It's very popular. COMP is their currency, comp. And for reasons that were not explainable and totally unfortunate, they sent about $80 million, $90 million worth of comp to random wallets. Just random wallets. And the CEO goes online and and starts asking for it back. It's like, oh, please, could you give back the one wallet woke up with 20 million extra dollars in it, which, you got to say that's pretty impressive. I mean, it's pretty impressive. So yeah, I was blown away by the request. The CEO got a little ahead of his skis and said he was going to dox people. Doxing is slang for reporting them and revealing their identity. In this case, flat out said he was going to reveal people's identity to the IRS. And I thought, wow, that is just evil. Just evil. But they recanted. They took that back and said, oh, just kidding. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Now, there's a lesson here for everybody, and we shouldn't miss it. And that's what I want to talk about for the rest of our time today, unless you have other questions. And Tori, I do see your question about the Fed chair's comments. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. You need to protect your crypto in a way. If a pro organization that is manned by serious engineers can make an error of this magnitude, where they literally send $90 million of crypto into outer space, and then have to beg for it back. They were offering, hey, you can keep 10% of it because we just want it back. Do the right thing. In the world of decentralized finance, the right thing doesn't exist. There's no one to go see. There's no middle person. The whole point here is that if you want to open up a bank today, you open a bank. If you want to open up a decentralized exchange, you open up a decentralized exchange. If you want to do it in Portugal or South Dakota or the Bahamas, you go right ahead and do it. Those are very favorable places to open up financial institutions, and no one's going to talk to you about it because there's no one to go see, especially if you're offshore. Now, no one may use your bank. No one may use your tokens if you have tokens, but no one's going to stop you. So the basic tenet of decentralized finance is decentralization. That makes you the digital custodian of your tokens, the digital security guard of your tokens, the physical security guard of your tokens, the physical security guard of your NFTs or digital assets, no matter what flavor they tend to be. And it is incumbent upon you to transfer those assets with care. Well, let's talk about how you do that, because clearly our friends at Comp did not, were not paying attention in class. And this cost them a lot. And I don't want it to cost you a lot. So once again, this is not financial advice. My goal here is not to give you financial advice. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to give you some common sense, tactical understanding of what the issues are, what you need to look out for, and how you might encrypt your crypto and how you might safeguard it. Because apparently this is something that needs to be talked about. There are two kinds of wallets that you can put your crypto in. And there are a couple places you can buy things from that are not wallets. So if you're on Coinbase, you can send money from Coinbase. It's an exchange, but you can send money anywhere you want from Coinbase. Not everyone accepts money from Coinbase, but you can send your crypto from Coinbase or Coinbase Pro. You can buy and sell on a lot of exchanges. You can buy pairs they pair things up. You can buy ETH with USDT, and you can buy Solana with ETH, and you can buy Bitcoin with ADA, and vice versa. Buy anything with anything. And if you go to an exchange, which you probably can't get to in the United States, like FTX, not FTX.us, which is not available here in the States, but if you've got a VPN and you can tunnel into FTX in the Bahamas, used to be Hong Kong, then you will see an entire exchange filled with derivatives and financial instruments and interesting financial products that don't exist anywhere else. It's a full-fledged, no kidding exchange with all kinds of stuff on it. Then, of course, you can exchange anything you want to exchange with. I think almost every currency of any worth is listed at FTX. You can also go. You can also go to a DEX, a pure DEX, a decentralized exchange, and I'm not going to name them for you here. You'll go find them yourselves. I don't want to promote this. Decentralized exchanges, Wild West. Do what you want. Knock yourself out. No one to go see. And then at the very end of that, there are places like Uniswap where you can do atomic swaps. And I've written about that, so please, you can go to shellypalmer.com and read about atomic swaps and read about how that's all done. I don't want to spend time here talking about how Uniswap works and what atomic swaps are. And there, the big issue is double spend attacks, and I've articulated that pretty well in that article and a couple others, so you'll easily find it. Regardless of what you do, you're going to ultimately want to take digital custody of your tokens. It's just you are. You're going to want to get it out of the exchange and into a wallet. And there are two kinds of wallets you can put your stuff in. You can either put your stuff in a hardware wallet or a software wallet. Now, a software wallet is online, and while they are secure, very secure, they're not as secure as a hardware wallet, which is offline by default. It's offline, so it's going to be more secure. The number of software wallets out there, there's a thing called Coinbase Wallet, which is not Coinbase. It's a separate company. So if you get Coinbase Wallet on your phone, you can easily connect Coinbase to it. I'm only using Coinbase because it's the most popular of the exchanges in the United States, and it's also publicly traded and highly regulated, and they've sort of gotten past their hacking issues, and they've sort of gotten past their security flaws, and I'm just using Coinbase as a catch-all, but any exchange. But in this case, there is a thing called Coinbase Wallet. It's just not owned by Coinbase. When you move your tokens from Coinbase to Coinbase Wallet, all fees apply. So you move an ETH out of Coinbase to Coinbase Wallet, you're going to pay gas prices to move it. And you're going to wait however long that transaction takes because it's going on-chain. That is an on-chain event. So Taurus is another software wallet. There's a bunch of them. There's a connector tool called Wallet Connect. A lot of people like that. It's harder to find. I don't think it's in the Apple App Store, but Wallet Connect is a tool that a lot of people do like. Then there are hardware wallets, the wallet of choice. You have any substantial amount of cryptocurrency, any substantially valuable NFTs. You want to take digital custody of them, and you want to put them in a hardware wallet. And there are lots of them out there. My two favorites, and this is a personal bias, it's certainly not saying they're the only ones or the ones you have to get. I like and use Ledger and Trezor. I have them both, and I have several of each because I don't keep all my eggs in one basket, and you shouldn't either. I'm not suggesting that you invest in crypto. I'm not suggesting that it is not the riskiest thing in the world. I'm simply saying to you, if you're going to have any substantial amount of cryptocurrency, you want to take digital custody of it in a hardware wallet. And when you do that, you want to do this slowly and carefully. Test and learn. I have never, ever hooked up a wallet and moved a large amount of crypto from one place to the other. Ever. You wait for the gas fees if it's ETH to be at a certain level. The other stuff doesn't have the same pain point from a transaction fee perspective. You move this much. You make sure that everything's perfect. Whatever the VIG is that you get hit for on transaction fees, assuming the gas prices are reasonable if it's ETH, it's way better than making the mistake of sending wrapped ETH to a wallet that can't take it, or sending some crypto to a wallet that is not adapted to that specific token. Every wallet will not hold every token. Every wallet will not hold every token. You must be sure. You must be sure. Then, when you are sure, you can move any amount of crypto you'd like. Press of a button. It's done. Then, you take your wallet, or hardware wallet, you physically close it up, and you put it somewhere where You can find it. Your significant other can, or your guardian, the person that is the executor of your will. You might write where it is in your will. You might write it down in a, I mean, this is going to sound really morbid and horrifying, but before COVID hit, I put like 300,000 miles a year in the air forever. I was constantly two to four planes a week, every week, 50 weeks a year. And whenever I traveled by air, there's an envelope. It's tucked in the side of my desk. And it says, open only if I'm dead. Not mostly dead. If so, see Billy Crystal. But actually dead. And that's a little bit of a kind of a gallows humor joke. But in there is a whole bunch of things. It's the passwords to stuff. And, it's the document that you would want someone to have immediately if you just met with an untimely end. You better know where those wallets are. Now, every crypto wallet, whether it's a software wallet or a hardware wallet, comes with a seed phrase. And the more secure wallets are either 12 seed words or 24 seed words. The hardware wallets are 24 seed words. You don't get to choose the seed words. The wallet randomly picks 24 or 12 or 24 seed words and puts them in a place where you can read them. You copy them down, and you absolutely cannot lose them, and you should not keep them with your wallet. Duh. Because anyone with the seed phrase can go rebuild the wallet. The hardware wallets do have a software component where they can be rebuilt. You must have the seed phrase to do that. Do not keep the seed phrase near the wallet, anywhere near the wallet. End of story. That's that. So, where do you keep your seed phrase? You can write it on a piece of paper. Pretty old school. Why not? Write it down, put it in a drawer somewhere. Number your wallets, code name them. Don't be too funny with the code names. Don't call one wallet Captain Kirk, the other one Mr. Spock, the other one Lieutenant Uhura, and then forget which one's which. Like, that don't make any sense. Number them, give them a name, some identifiers, you'll know what they are. And then you might want to encrypt that information and password protect it. Now, there's a couple ways you can do that. The easiest way is just using the encryption tools that are built into Windows and built into Mac OS. I mean, that's the super easiest way to do it. And I like that the most, to be fair. It's, could do it in an Excel file and just protect the workbook with a password somewhere, and then it could live on your hard drive, and it's encrypted, and it's sort of like, it's slightly newer than just writing it on a piece of paper, and it's slightly better. And the good news with that is you can get to it pretty much from wherever you are. So, if you have a way to store an encrypted document on your OneDrive or on your in iCloud or Dropbox or Google Drive, you can get to it. Awesome. Then, probably the next best thing you can do is, and this is for people who have a lot of money on the line, you can encrypt a thumb drive. Literally, it's not online. It's a thumb drive you keep in your briefcase that's encrypted, and the information's there. That's your seed phrase, because the wallet's going to be separate. Am I right? You don't need your seed phrase every time you open the wallet. A wallet's open with a password or a PIN number. But if you need to rebuild a wallet, you will absolutely have to have your seed phrases. And then my least favorite way, but the way a lot of my friends do it, is they all do their inner Tony Stark channeling, which is nuts. Everybody, a lot of my friends use these hardware encrypted wallets. They cost anywhere from like $50 to $500, and basically they're jump drives. Now, the good news about using an encrypted jump drive, and one of the reasons you might want to do it, might, not have to, but might want to do it, is that it will work across operating systems. So if you live in a world that's Mac and Windows and maybe Linux, and you want to be able to interoperate your encrypted or access your encrypted files, if you use Microsoft tools to encrypt a jump drive, that jump drive is not going to work when you plug it into a Mac, and vice versa. But these encrypted with the little buttons on them that you press, they do work that way. So yeah, that's yeah, it's probably the best way. We do have a question here from Tom Herman. Should you keep your seed phrase in your password keeper? I don't know why you would need to do that, and I don't know that you should do that. The method that I like to use is to keep the seed phrases very safe and encrypted in their own way, in their own place. And they're not labeled in a way that a casual viewer could understand what they were. You would never know what file it is to go get it. I have a lot of documents I do that way. You know, we're taught to label documents very accurately. Well, I do label my documents very accurately, but the documents I don't want anyone to understand, I don't label in a way that's understandable. And it's not clear that it won't be clear to anybody that that's what's happening. So that's my preferred methodology. Everybody is, of course, always susceptible to the $5 wrench hack. That's the euphemism for someone comes up or whacks you on the head with or threatens to whack you on the head with a $5 wrench, and unless you give them the seed phrase, give me your password or I'll torture you. I don't know. That feels bad to me, but hopefully that will never happen to anyone you know or love. That's my hope. We're coming towards the end of the hour. I want to just mention one other thing, if I could. Because it's kind of important to me, and I forgot to mention it. So if you'll just give me a second here. TECHSTREAM with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett drops every Tuesday. It's about pop culture and technology, and Seth and I have a blast doing this. It's at Apple and Spotify and Play Store and Amazon. Wherever you get your podcast, you can get TECHSTREAM with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. We're about half a year into this now, and it's just awesome. And I'll give Seth one other big promo. Seth's Twitch channel, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Seth is going to be broadcasting Thursday Night Football on Twitch. He's one of the chosen few who's going to have an official NFL simulcast, and you'll get Seth Everett narration. So I can't wait, and it's amazing that he got that opportunity, and I can't wait to listen to him do that. But you don't have to wait to listen to Seth and I. You can do that wherever you get your podcast, TECHSTREAM with Shelly Palmer and Seth Everett. I hope you'll enjoy it. So look, you can find everything you want to find here at shellypalmer.com/blockchain. Again, our database, links to kind of important stuff, some links to some wallets, a lot of articles there. All the articles are laid out. I've got dozens and dozens of articles about the things we talked about today, keeping your crypto safe, how you might think about some of the NFT plays, fan development, audience development, you name it. We've sort of written about it. We're continually writing about it, constantly updating it. So, please feel free to go there. There's also the opportunity to subscribe to our daily email there, which I hope you'll do. So yeah, that's sort of and I should definitely say, look, this is my email address. It's Shelly. It's shellypalmer.com. Anything you want to ask me, anything you want to talk about, I am completely happy to do the best I can to answer your questions. I am looking for people to tell me about incredible blockchain stuff that I don't know about, DeFi stuff I don't know about, or if I do, just to tell me about what you've seen that you think is interesting. These are early days. This is like an amazing time to be doing what we're doing now, and I'm super psyched to be, sitting here at the cutting edge with all of my friends and colleagues, and certainly anybody who's gotten this far in this particular live stream is someone that I, respect and would love to hear from. So please, if you see something interesting, or if you don't, you just want to talk about it, send me an email. I'd love to have it. And with that, I'm going to wish you all a very, very happy week, and stay safe. Hopefully COVID will be leaving us sooner than later, because, wow, am I done with this. All the best to everybody. Please stay in touch, and we will see you next time for another edition of Crypto Wednesday. For everybody here at the Palmer Group, I am Shelly Palmer. You guys take care.